Now to a dire warning about climate change.
Now the new climate change report just released.
A dire warning this morning from climate experts.
According to a new report, experts say that we have until 2030 to avoid catastrophe.
13 federal agencies ramping up urgent warnings of a severe threat to America's health and economy.
It also says if unprecedented changes are not made and made soon, there will be irreversible damage to the planet.
This year's deadly wildfires and monster storms. Terrifying signs of things to come.
So very, very stark warnings indeed coming out of this report.
According to tonight's dire new assessment from 13 federal agencies.
Dire warning.
Very stark warnings.
Urgent warnings.
A dire warning.
Dire new assessment.
An urgent warning tonight from some of the world's top scientists. They say we still have a chance to limit the effects of climate change and save countless lives, but only if much more is done immediately to slow the Earth's warming.
Fear is defined as an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or is a threat. Extreme weather events like hurricanes or tornadoes enact fear into us. The majority fear the danger. Those caught in these events fear for their lives. Some even lose their lives. Yet not many people fear driving their car every day. Not many people fear what produces their electricity. But we still fear these dangerous weather events that we are making worse. It has long since been known that things are changing on Earth. We started to realize that we were contributing to these changes in the 20th century. In the 1970s, it became evident that there is warming happening to our planet. Since 2001, we have recorded 17 of the hottest years on record. The Arctic sea ice is decreasing at over 12% per decade, and that number is only going to rise. The ice sheets on both of our poles are losing a staggering 400 gigatons of ice per year. That is over 60 billion African elephants. Our sea levels are rising at 3 millimeters a year and increasing. This rise in the ocean is going to have long-term consequences. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, Vancouver, Dubai, and thousands of others could be on the path to being flooded soon. Higher oceans means a greater risk of large storm surges during hurricanes, causing more damage at higher elevations that were once thought to be safe from these large waves. The main cause of climate change, also known as global warming, I prefer to use climate change, is greenhouse gases. The main greenhouse gases that do the biggest damage is carbon dioxide and methane, with methane being much worse than carbon dioxide. These greenhouse gases are important to have in our atmosphere as they trap the reflected heat from the surface of Earth caused by the sun. But too much of this and you start trapping more and more heat in the atmosphere, and that is why climate change is occurring at a fast rate and it is fueled by us. What can we do to at least slow this? Fix the damage we have done. Things like the Paris Climate Agreement are great first steps, but even this won't be enough. We're going through really trying times right now. Climate change is something that's in the news practically daily, but no one is taking responsibility despite all the dire warnings from the people who really know what they are talking about. Everybody wants to blame the person above them. Most everyday people will just say, oh well, what am I gonna do about it? I'm just one person. But then it goes to the businesses. They're saying, oh well, we're just a small business, it's the bigger guy's fault. This goes on, and then you start getting into the big guys who should be the ones doing the change. Like one of the most powerful figures in the world, the United States President. What is he saying? He is saying, why should we do anything if China and India are worse than us and they aren't doing anything? This is where the issue's at. Someone has to take charge and nobody is. There's criticism of the Paris Climate Agreement, like there is with everything. Studies have predicted that the global temperature rise goals of the Paris Climate Agreement won't be reached. An MIT study revealed that although the agreement is beneficial, the current agreement cannot reach the targets it set. These studies are important for us to understand that even this is not enough, but what they also provided is an excuse to countries for them to just give up in a sense. On August 4th, 2017, the United States officially sent a notice to the United Nations that the United States will withdraw from the agreement. This is a huge disappointment. Although the agreement will not reach its goals, this shows the US, at least right now, does not care about climate change. Supposedly, the agreement undermines their economy and puts them at a global disadvantage. This shows, at least to me, that money is being put ahead of our future and the future of our entire species and other species on our planet. This is the height of human stupidity, not looking at the future and only caring about money now. Now, I'll admit this is all kind of depressing, but there is people doing good. There's far more people that care about our environment than people that don't. Countries like Britain, France, Norway, Israel, and China are all passing plans to phase out gas and diesel-powered vehicles by the midway point of the century. Even the US state of California plans to do this, along with where I live, British Columbia, Canada. By now, I'm sure most people have heard of the 2018 report released by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, also known as the IPCC. It was released on October 8, 2018. This special report includes over 6,000 scientific references prepared by 91 authors from 40 different countries. The relief is we can change it. We do have the ability to. It will not be easy by any means. The report states, rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented changes in all aspects of society would be needed to reach the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal. It also states carbon dioxide emissions would need to be reduced by at least 45% from what they were in 2010 by 2030. We would also have to reach net zero emissions by 2050. In Chapter 2, page 159 of the report, it states that countries' pledges to reduce their emissions are currently not in line with limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. There's then two possible pathways to limit the warming. Option 1 is to keep the temperature at or just below 1.5 degrees. The other option, called the overshoot pathway, is considered the more possible one. It would mean overshooting the 1.5 degree goal by a small margin by the mid-century mark, and by 2100 have it lowered back to or below 1.5 degrees. Carbon tax is something I wanted to bring up here because you hear a lot about it in the news these days. One side is against it and one is for it. I am personally for the carbon tax. You should have to pay for causing damage to the environment. People pay fines if they're littering at the park. Why can't these big businesses pay for littering our atmosphere? Carbon tax is essentially putting a tax on consumers and even producers of things like coal, gas, and diesel. If high enough, this can incentivize companies to switch to low emissions or zero emissions on their equipment. We can fix this now. We just need to get serious now. Not in 10 years, not 20 years, it has to be now, or it will be too late. The solution starts with you and me, everyday people making better choices. The David Suzuki Foundation has a list of 10 things you can do to stop climate change. A few of these that I thought can easily be achieved by most people are green your commute, use energy wisely, consume less and waste less, and eat for a climate-stable planet. The details for all these can be seen on the David Suzuki Foundation website. We don't want to be the ones who are known to ruin our planet. Instead, we want future generations to know we were the ones that fixed our past wrongdoings. Imagine future generations of kids that don't even know what a snow day is, or can't even enjoy their summer vacations because it is too hot. And guess what their history books will say? They will say the world is like this because of the stupid people who didn't care for their planet in the 19th, 20th, and 21st century. I certainly don't want that to be our legacy. Money will not buy a new Earth. You cannot buy life, air, animals, water, or fertile land. There is no seller. Climate change is happening now. Do I think we can fix it? Yes. Will we? I don't know. There's not enough evidence for me to answer. But if there's one thing I do know, us as a species on our little home called Earth can accomplish greatness, but only if we do it together, one step at a time.